There we go. So again, welcome guys to Scott Talks again. We haven't done this in a long time. We're starting this year off with some great things that are coming from our lender partners. A lot of new products that they've kind of worked around. Like I was saying before, everyone got on the call. The East Coast and GTA will both benefit from this product. The product itself is nationwide, but the one thing that I'm really happy about, especially with the East Coast, is the amount of attention that has come to Atlantic Canada this year. And it's nice to see a lender who's willing to also offer the products that would usually just be for Ontario and BC. I know when I was there, it was tough to get anything and the support that they needed out East when helping. So it's nice to see you guys are representing the whole country rather than just small bits and pieces, because it's getting crazy out there. They are doing a lot of business. I mean, I know Chris and Dan and everyone I talked to at Christmas, Sylvia especially as well, they tell me that it's pretty wild. And then of course, GTA just continues to be an absolute crazy time here as well too. They're just talking to Paul about how the prices in houses are not going anywhere down. So the buyers are now having trouble getting into the market with the amount of money they have. So we'll find out some more about some of the options that we'll have from other lenders this year. But this time we're going to start off with Ashley. Ashley, I'm not going to waste any more time on this. I want to welcome you first of all to Paradigm, to the WEALTHLINE brand. This is one of her first presentations she's done with us. If there's any questions, guys, you can put them in the chat or you can put them at the end. I will be fielding them at the end and kind of jumping in and out if there's any kind of comments that I have at the time. But let's get started, Ashley. I don't want to waste anyone's time here because everyone is very busy at the start of this year. So welcome, Ashley, and go ahead.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'm really, really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be representing WEALTHLINE, and I'm excited especially to get to know all of you. That's going to be my biggest focus, getting started and getting my feet wet, is to get to know each one of you and your businesses. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here.
I just want to say something quickly before you go, Ashley. I noticed, guys, and I don't want anyone attacking or anything like that, but James Wu is on the call as well, and he's the underwriter that works with us. Now but that says a lot. I don't know any underwriters that are coming out and jumping on to talk to the brokers, to see some of the brokers' names. So thanks for coming on, James. I just wanted to mention that as well. So sorry to interrupt.
No, all good. That's one of the things that one of the things that I'm going to deliver home to you today is really about our team and how much we're just there for you. That's our primary goal. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of where I'm coming from. I recently joined WEALTHLINE at the beginning of about November. I come from a very different background. I come from the private lending sphere. So it's been a big transition coming over to WEALTHLINE, and there's a lot to learn, and I'm learning a lot from all of you. So it's been really, really awesome. I did get some brokering knowledge in my past life doing the private lending stuff as well. I think that sort of led me to where I am today. I thought there was just so much more to be done on the A side. I've really jumped in there, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can. And these new products that have been coming about with WEALTHLINE, I think are really going to be so beneficial to all of you. So I'm really excited to talk about Cashback. I'm going to go into first a little bit about why would you choose WEALTHLINE. I know a lot of you have been doing this for a really long time. You've been around Paradigm, Quest, and WEALTHLINE probably way longer than I have. But there's a lot of things that have changed. There's a lot of things that you've maybe forgotten about. So I just want to bring all of those things to the forefront a little bit, and then we'll get into the Cashback. And then you'll let me know, I guess, if you have any questions at the end. So moving on. I don't know if you can see this here. I've moved on to why WEALTHLINE, and I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty details. You can sort of go through this on your own a little, and I can send out the slide deck. Scott can send it out later. I just wanted to give you sort of a brief outline of what are some of the really great things WEALTHLINE has to offer you. One of those things is co-branding. We've really gotten good at anytime we send out a welcome letter or an annual statement to your clients, your name is on that. It's free marketing for you. And it's just getting your name back in front of them. So that's pretty exciting. Our compensation, I'm going to glide over because I have more detail on it in the next slide, but we have excellent compensation. I want to talk about exclusivity here. I'm here for you and only you. And the underwriting team as well is here for you and only you. We're not working with anyone except for except for Invis and Mortgage Intelligence. So all of my time and effort is dedicated to you. And that is amazing on its own. We are really driven to get you the service excellence that I think has maybe been lacking previously. Our goal, both myself and the underwriters, is to deliver whatever you need as quickly as we can get it done for you. And that exclusivity also gets you access to our best rates and all of our products. And speaking of dedicated underwriting, James, I think showing up for this has shown his dedication. I received an email last week just praising James for how incredible he is. The standards in the industry, once we receive a file, generally speaking, to get you a commitment out are about 24 hours, and we've got it down to about 4 hours. And then the turnaround time for reviewing documents in general is about 48 hours, and we've got it down to about 8. Oh. We're really driven to pick up that service that I think has been lacking in the past. And our underwriters are dedicated to you. And James has been especially so great at getting on the phone and answering all of your questions.
So this is big too, because James is our designated underwriter, right, for GTA and Atlantic Canada?
In the East. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. James is in the East. We have Ada in the West. I have their emails at the end of the slide deck, just if you need them. But really, you're very lucky to have James. And I would just recommend to everyone, treat your underwriters like gold. That's a good take home. Anyway, moving on. No submitting agent. I've heard some frustrations.
So I think we're stuck on the slide here, on the first slide, the Why WEALTHLINE slide.
Still stuck? Yeah, I'm still on there.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were on. Sorry.
Yeah. So no submitting agent. I just wanted to drive home on that. I've heard some frustrations from some of the brokers and team leads that they really love the idea of every agent being able to submit on their own so that they can have full control over their deals and submit all their own documents. And the team leads and the brokers don't need to have to deal with all of those other things as well. So that's amazing. You all have access to your own portals. The last thing I want to talk about on this slide is the dedicated retention department. You always have access to your clients, but we really wanted to make it easier for you when your clients have renewals. We will reach out to them from 3 months prior. We will do all the legwork for you, and you will still make your compensation on that. So I really think that's an amazing thing that we have to offer. Moving on to the compensation, I'll let you sort of see what the BIPs are and what the comp is exactly, but I just wanted to show you that we have a few different tiers that you can fall under. And again, this is under each individual agent and broker. So we have a really great upfront comp, and it's going to depend on what tier you're under. The point that I want to sort of deliver here is more looking at the renewals and the annual trailers. So renewals, again, we have that retention department that will do all the legwork for you. And on renewal, you're going to make that extra 20 bips. You can really make upfront comp between the beginning and the renewal, 130 bips. And then for the annual trailers, from year 6 on, it's just passive income for doing absolutely nothing. And you're going to make an extra 10 bips a year for that. So we have a really good compensation package. So I hope that you're going to start taking advantage of that. We have a lot of niche products. There really are a lot. I've only included a few here. I don't want to, point out each and every one of them. I think there's, a few here that some other lenders don't necessarily do. Some of those things I want to point out are we do hobby farms. So it can be ag zoning, but it has to allow for residential use. And they base that on a house plus 5 acres. One of the other niche products that we've started talking about a little bit before we started this whole talk, Scott, we have now an alternative side. So Jess, who was working on the A side, has now moved to the B side. We didn't lose her. And we are building this line of B business. Right now we're in BC and Ontario, but we had a meeting last week. They're already planning on expanding this slowly throughout the year. So you will all be able to take advantage of those, sending in those alternative deals to us. And we'll keep you posted on that. We do collateral transfers. And one of the great things about doing transfers with WealthLine in general is that we will cap in up to $3,000 of any penalties or fees for your clients. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to cashback. This is the part that I'm really excited about. Scott mentioned that there's been cashback in the past. I think they've really worked on this product to make it more accessible to more people and to allow for different options. So the product gives homeowners a percentage of their mortgage amount, which includes the mortgage plus the mortgage insurance premium. And in exchange for that, there's a little bit tacked on to the rate, but they have the option to choose from different cashback amounts to see how they can benefit from it the most. Some of the highlights, we do both 5-year fixed and ARM rates for cashback. It's accessible for purchases and transfers, for high ratio insured and insurable, 120-day and 90-day transfer promos. It's available, as Scott mentioned, across all provinces, so you all have access to it. The minimum AM is 15 years, minimum loan $75K, and the maximum loan is just shy of $1 million, $924,999, with the standard 2020 prepayment privileges. There are a variety of options, as I mentioned, and I will go into the cashback repayment if there is early payout on that. So on this slide, you can see what our rates are. These are all current rates. There's the fixed rates and there's the ARM rates. We're really driving home how competitive our ARM rates are right now. There's a lot that you can push with this. So this gives you the option. Your clients can choose cashback from 1% to 5%. The only time the 5% is not applicable is if it's over 95% for insured. But otherwise, you can see where they're going to fit in the best using this chart, how much they're going to get versus, how much their mortgage is going to increase. And it really gives you a good sense of how they can benefit from the cashback. Some of the ineligible transactions for uninsured, pre-approvals, secondary homes, Alt-A, new to Canada, assumptions, ports and increases, quick closes, and non-owner occupied rentals. I'm going to sort of flow through that pretty quickly. Again, you can all have access to this after if you want some more detail. I love this slide. This is really like why and how you can sell this to your clients if you think they can benefit from it. There's so many good opportunities for cashback. Whether your clients are upgrading their home or downsizing, or they're, first-time home buyers, or whatever the case may be, you're always going to need to purchase things for your home. So the cashback allows them to set aside some money to buy some furniture, things that, when you're buying a house, you don't necessarily think about all the extra expenses that come along with it. You're thinking about the mortgage and you're thinking about, maybe some closing costs and what have you, how to make it work. So this gives them that extra cash in their pocket to buy what they need for the home. For home renovation, so let's say you decide your client wants to take the Purchase Plus Improvements program. Now, when they take that program, they are getting the house. They have to put out their own money from their own pockets to do those renos. Where the cashback comes in is the cashback is available upon closing. So there is no cash out of their pocket. They can use that cashback, do the home renos, and then get the money back in return from us once that's all done. Rainy day savings, obviously, there's always stuff to do in a house. There's always things that come up. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And again, we do make this available upon closing. So the money is available for closing costs and moving expenses, which oftentimes isn't calculated into the mix. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, guys, Ashley, just so you know, Ashley just came from suffering from a COVID from last week. So
I'm really sorry. My throat I'm still trying to get over it.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I should have mentioned that at the beginning. Sorry, Ashley.
That's okay. So again, you know, there's a lot of higher interest debts. If you want to use, we try not to use the cashback to qualify clients, but if you wanted to use it towards paying off their debts, you would just let your underwriter know in the notes, and we can use it towards that upon closing. One of my other favorite things is that you can use it for a lump sum mortgage prepayment. So even once it's closed, you take that cash back, you put it towards a prepayment, and it brings their principal down right off the bat. I think, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right? So, okay. Now here's how the cashback works if it needs to be repaid. Should the homeowner either decide to switch from an ARM to a new 5-year fixed term, or should they want to move into a different mortgage altogether, depending on the months that are left is how much percentage of cash back that needs to be repaid. Again, I'm not going to go through all of it. You can have the slide deck after to take a look at that to see how it would work. But this is just a snapshot of what that would look like. And then I wanted to give just one explanation of how it works to break it down, because it can be a little bit tricky to sort of go through the motions of it. So, you know, let's say your client wants to move from that ARM to the fixed rate. The cashback repayment amount at the time of conversion becomes the new cashback amount for the purposes of calculating the cashback repayment under the new fixed term. So let's take the amount 10,000. Your client got $10,000 cash back, and they now want to convert from the ARM to the fixed, and they have 40 months left in their mortgage. So looking at that cashback repayment that we showed on the previous slide, if there's 40 months left, they have to sort of repay back that 80%. And so you would do the math at 10,000 times 80%. And so moving into that new 5-year fixed term, their baseline now is going to be $8,000 instead of $10,000. So even though we're bringing them back to a 5-year fixed, the cashback amount gets adjusted accordingly. And if that client decided with another 25 months remaining in their new fixed term mortgage that they want to refinance somewhere else, we would look at the 25 months. They owe back 60% of that. So doing the math, they started at 8,000 times the 60%, and they would owe us 4,800 upon that refi. Here's another scenario. I don't want to bore you with all the scenarios. We can always go through it if you have a case that you want to go through, but this was just another snapshot of how that works. And then just some frequently asked questions. So are the interest rates higher for the cashback product? As I mentioned, they are a little bit higher. How do the applicants receive the funds? So the funds are directed to the solicitor and provided to the client upon closing. The total cashback amount will be outlined in their commitment for them to see. And what we ask is that if your clients want to use the cashback for closing costs or debt repayment, please, when you're sending the deal through to the underwriter, please just state that for the underwriter in there so they don't have to go back and redo the work after. It's all straightforward. The funds unfortunately cannot be used for down payment. That's really just because we need a little bit of skin in the game on their end. And can the applicants get 5% cash back on high ratio mortgage? No, there is just that one option that they can't receive the 5% back on. The maximum there would be 3%. At the end of the 5 years, if they go through their whole term and nothing's changed, then it's a wash. They get to keep the money and move on their merry way and just renew their mortgage with us for the next 5 years. So that's it for cashback. I have, as I mentioned, I have James's contact here, Rob's contact, who's our other full service underwriter in the East, and Ada, who's our full service underwriter in the West. So if you need any of their contacts at any time, please don't hesitate to reach out. As I mentioned, we're all here for you, and we're really excited to continue the growth and to have you take advantage of everything that we have to offer. So wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. I appreciate that. That's great. I mean, guys, you can open, because there is just a small group for us here today. If you guys want to open up your any questions you might have, please feel free to do so. I would also suggest just reaching out to Ashley personally. This is a person who's extending her time to us and is going to be there for us to answer any questions that may arise. But this cashback mortgage is something that you can advertise. I think, Ashley, do you guys offer any kind of marketing material or anything like that that we can use, or do you have anything that that you would prefer them to put out, or something like along those lines, or is it just kind of we're just word of mouthing it at this time?
It's more word of mouth, but I'm actually happy to put together something for them to hand out to their clients. You know, there was a couple slides in there that show the benefits, so I'm happy to put something together and send it out.
Well, we're happy to do so that as well too. I mean, we have a marketing department that's able to kind of brand it with our people as well. So if you had something that they could use, that piece of material you could send me, I may put something together for them to be able to produce it. So we have Dan who has a quick question for us here. If we use the cashback to pay off a credit card, can we use that to reduce the debt service ratio? I think she did mention that. So why don't you take that away, Ashley? Go ahead.
Yeah, so we can use it towards credit cards to service the ratios. Again, they don't want to base the whole deal around using the cashback to make the deal work. But if it's a small component, then yes, we can.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to make anything work along those lines would be great. I'm sure there's going to be some questions that James is going to have, and I'm sure there'll be some stipulations where it doesn't apply. Like, I mean, but obviously that's a great option for it too. So thanks a lot for the question, Dan. Does anyone else have any questions at this time? Okay, great. Well, I mean, guys, these are known to just be a quick little information session for you. This is what the whole purpose of it is. I mean, right now we got one from Christine to it. What are the specific lending areas? Do you want to talk about specific lending areas for all of, like, I mean, because she is national right now. But Ashley, why don't you go ahead? I hate to.
Yeah, I mean, we're national, so we're happy to lend across all regions, all provinces. You know, having different investors, all those different investors have different limitations and different lending criteria. So really, it's great if you could just send in specific deals and we can talk about each one as they go, because I can give you a better answer when I have more details.
Right. Do you guys have like an area? Like, I mean, I remember when I was there was almost like a map that showed where it cut off. I think Christine might be referring to that as well too, because if there are some rural areas that might not be the best. I think, you know, the word marketability comes to mind whenever I answer these questions in terms of what we have in terms of that. James has just said something fun in there. That he said, you know, send something by him quickly. I mean, this is the relationship that we've all been missing for the last few years, is having a person who we can get comfortable with and all that stuff. He just answered, lending areas are more limited to uninsured. Otherwise, we lend in all provinces, but not the territories. So again, Christine, that's a great question though too. It's one that we have to ask because, you know, people are now moving away from the city core. There's people leaving the cities. There's people moving to these different areas. I know for a fact you guys have a fun one where, you know, there's no road access available too. I don't know if that's for the cashback one, but I mean, I used to push that one and I get some fun deals from like rural Quebec or New Brunswick and those places, but it's becoming an actuality and it's happening in life now. People they don't have to work downtown anymore and they don't want to. And I mean, we've seen this having a lot. So Christine, that's a great question because yeah, there are people who are going to be finding ways to move around. So thanks a lot, James, for answering those two. So I think in this scenario, guys, like Ashley was saying, and James was saying, just send the deal by first, get that relationship going after the call to get things started. So I'm glad we got some more questions right now too. One from Noor and then one from Chris. Can the down payment be a gift on the cashback?
Can you do gifted down payment on cashback?
Yeah,
I want to say yes, but I think James can answer that question better than I can.
Okay, James, you can let us know, and I'll make sure to see that in the answers there, Noor, but that's a great question too. Chris Golding has one, does the retention staff push deals back to us? So this is a big one because Chris makes a good point. We're working together as a private label option, right? You guys do pay on the retention, as I recall. Yes. And I know that there are some fun stuff. I was not selling that product when I was there. We did not have a renewal or trailers. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because Chris makes a great point on that too. We don't want to be fighting against the very people we're bringing products to. And I think that's a big deal. So to give me a little.
Yeah. So I want to make that really, really clear. The retention department is not there to push you out by any means. You completely have access to your clients. And we are, again, like I said, when we're sending out the renewals, we're putting your names on everything. You're very much included. It's not that we're trying to cut you out, and you have all the right to sort of be in the go-between. The point here is just to make your life easier and to take some of those steps off your plate so that you're free to bring in more business and do other things with your time. So we're absolutely working together with you on this. In no way, shape, or form are we trying to work against you.
And we have a yes on the considered gifted down payment for cashback. So there's the answer in that. That's a great thing for Chris too, and a bunch of the brokers that we've this whole idea of what you guys do and some of the differences you have compared to other lenders means that brokers and agents can still have that residual income coming in later on in life. And I mean, especially if brokers are coming to a point too where there's getting a lot of business and a lot of it is coming in the door in the front. It's great to have that ability in the back, but it also comes with an amount of trust we have to have for that retention team on what they're saying compared to what we're saying to our clients too. So working together with the retention team is big as well, Ashley. So I think that's a great question that Chris had as well. So
for sure.
So we have another one from Chris too. So if WealthLine internal adds a new money to a deal and does all of the work, we get paid on the retention and the new money. If so, that is great. So I think is that can you tell us how accurate that is, Ashley?
So again, James might be able to answer this 100% more accurately than I can, but I believe that if upon renewal, there's new monies added, I believe that gets paid.
I recall there was something along those lines too, but I think you can, I suggest you reach out to Chris. Chris is a big person in the East that when I met him, I was in WealthLine as well too. And he always has the interest in using the product, but we've always had some problems in terms of service, stuff like that too. And I think, so I think Chris, you and Ashley can discuss that further, but I do believe you will get paid on the new money as well too.
Yeah.
But we'll do some research into that too. So I think that's it what I have right now. Does anyone else have any questions right now? I mean, there's lots of year left so right now. So we are just getting started. And we got one more from Noor. For the brokers do not work with James, he is the best. So there we go. So Noor's got some. I mean, you can take it right from the horse's mouth there, and she's definitely had some great experiences. And Noor has also had some of the worst experiences too, as I know as well. So she's a good person to talk to when it comes to good service and bad service. So anyway. We are very happy to have you, Ashley. We are really excited to see more about the B side too, with you and Jess working off each other. James is great to have as a designated underwriter. I don't think we had many of that before. It was like a Russian roulette of getting underwriters before and service before. So it's nice to see that we have that dedication now. So anyone who has any questions, guys, please reach out to Ashley. James will be the person that you call at the deal time. You can always run things by him, but Ashley will have that as well too. It's always nice to let the underwriter do the underwriting. Of course, it's great to have that relationship, but Ashley is here as the person who's able to help with kind of the opening questions. And when it comes to property stuff, I'm sure she'll loop James into the mix. But as soon as you guys get to know him better, you might become a best friend. So there you go. And we are just finishing up here on time. Like I said, guys, thanks very much for coming. We will do this again in 2 weeks with another lending option. We'll also do some updates on compliance, marketing, and some of the new things that are coming our way for Invis MI this year. It's going to be a big year. We are going to be opening up the actual activities again too. We had discussions about golf tournaments today. We have a lot of the team that's now pushing to try and make things back normal, or try to get people that are comfortable in coming out. And of course, to the East Coast people, I'll be out there about 5 times this year, starting in March. So March 14th, I will be down there to be opening up a small presentation and organize some presentations for you guys. Hopefully, maybe Ashley might come along. Who knows? But we'll definitely have some more people to come out with me this time to make it worth your while. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Again, good to see everyone's faces for those who made it out. And this will be recorded and sent out to the rest of the group. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.